Hi everyone, my name is Ashley and I'm here to bring you all the books that I read this June. So for the month of June, I went real hard on some audiobooks. I think last week I did an audiobook every day and I got a lot of reading done. So I started the month off with 79 on my TBR. I read 16, bought 8, and then borrowed 3 from the library. So my physical TBR didn't go down that much because I ended with 74 since I bought so many books. But it was still a great month. So for this month, I did participate in the Make Your Myth Taker readathon. That is hard to say. So I was going for a sorcerer and a royal spy. Sorcerer did not work out because there is one book that I am having the hardest time completing, but I did complete the royal spy path, so I guess I'm a royal spy now. Super cool. So I'll first go over those prompts and then I'll get into the other books that I read this month. So the first prompt was to read something that you heard good things about, and for that I chose You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. This book was everywhere on the internet. Everyone was talking about it and it was sold out almost everywhere. People had to wait for this book, which is awesome. This book is about Lizzie, who goes to school in Indiana, and this school loves prom. That is their main event for the year. It is so big that there's a scholarship involved for the prom king and queen when they win the competition. And Lizzie joins the competition because she does not receive financial aid to go to the college that she wants to. This is something that's definitely outside her comfort zone because she does not like to be center of attention, and when you run for a competition like this, you sort of have to be in the spotlight. But things do work out for her because she ends up falling for her competition, Mac. Now, I would not consider this an enemies to lovers because Mac didn't really care about the competition. She just did it because she was new in school and she was just trying to sort of fit along and be a part of the social system at the school. This is definitely an adorable romance. I laughed at a few parts. There are some hard-hitting moments. She does talk about how the school system's built for the white people and how the people who do win prom all the time are people who don't really deserve it, but people still vote for them no matter what. And it was a great read. It was super fun to read. And I gave this book 4.5 out of 5 stars. So the next prompt was to read a book with royal colors. So that's red, purple, or gold. And for that, I chose Felix Ever After by Case & Calendar. I loved this book. It was everything. I loved the romance. I loved everything it talked about. I tabbed it all up and I listened to it on audio, and I definitely want to reread it just in a physical format. Like, that's how much I loved this book. This book opens up with them going to their summer school program for the arts. On the first day of school, someone has hung up huge photos of Felix in his past self and released his dead name. This was very traumatic for Felix. So throughout the book, we're trying to discover who did this, and there is a slight love triangle, and I just loved this book. I loved what it talked about. This book just made me sad and happy, and I really enjoyed this book. So the next prompt was to read a secret book, and for that I read Muse of Nightmares because I also read Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. Strange the Dreamer is about Laszlo Strange and the city of Weep. He is chosen to go on the quest to find this city, and there's gods and there's people trying to destroy the gods. This book is beautiful because Laini Taylor just has beautiful writing. I love the Spoken Daughter series. I loved the series as well. I definitely like Strange the Dreamer better than Muse of Nightmares. I just found the beginning of the story just more interesting than the second. And I gave this series 4 stars. And the last prompt for Royal Spy was to read an underhyped book, and for that I chose Henna Wars. Now, this is a new release, but I definitely did not see as much attention on it as other new releases. The Henna Wars is about 2 girls who have a competing henna business for their class project. Now, these 2 girls knew each other back in elementary school, But Flavia moved to Brazil once her parents got her divorce because her mom needs some space, and then she does move back to Ireland and the girls reconnect again. Now Nisha is from Bangladesh and her family did move to Ireland, and she does come out to her family at the beginning of the book that she is a lesbian, and her parents do struggle with this. Her sister is very supportive. Her sister already knew, and I loved the sister dynamic in this book. I just love sisters who get along and don't fight as much. There is some arguments between them, but their relationship and their bond just holds really strong. I definitely would not call this enemies to lovers either. I think people are getting that impression because they're competing businesses, but there's definitely no hate among the two of them. There are some differences and they are discussed. This book does talk about cultural appropriation and how other races will take away other things from other races to make it their own because they don't seem to respect where they come from. And I really enjoyed the conversations they had in this book. I did give this book 4 out of 5 stars. Alright, and then, so this is outside the readathon. These are just books I read in general. The next two are 2 Morgan Matson books. I read Second Chance Summer and Since You've Been Gone. Like I said, I read a lot of audio this month. And I believe I gave this book 3 stars and this one 4 stars. This book annoyed me a bit. The main character I just didn't get it. I didn't get why she ran away and why she had such problems with her like ex-best friend and her ex-boyfriend. The only thing that really held this book together was the ending, because that was very emotional, but just the main character and how she handled things and why she handled things, like there was no reason for her to be so scared of certain things. So yeah, this was definitely not my favorite. In the other book, Since You've Been Gone, I was totally wrong about this. Her best friend is not dead. She's just gone. And this book does have romance, but it's definitely centered more on friendship. Even the romance stems from friendship, and I really enjoyed how it was about her discovering how to be friends with other people and with her learning how to branch out. Another book I read was The Astonishing Color of After by Emily X.R. Pan. This book is about Lee, who believes her mother has turned into a bird after she died of suicide, and she goes to spend the summer with her grandparents in Taiwan. She starts to learn different things about her mother's side of the family, which she knew nothing really about, and she starts communicating with her mom. And this book is just extremely heartbreaking to read. It's very sad, and it was a great read. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was Starflight and Starfall by Melissa Sanders. I forgot that I read this book about halfway through the audio, and I just finished it because it was just like a fun sci-fi read, and it was great. The second book, not so well. If you watched my last video, I said it was trash and I gave it 1 star because that's what it is. This book is about Sora, who has marks on her knuckles because she was in prison for something, and she ends up needing to get to the outside realm where people go to not be judged and they can work freely. She then meets Doran on her way to the outside realm, and things happen, and you know, romance. It's great. This is definitely lighthearted. It's very light sci-fi, like very light. It's just funny. It's nice, fluff, romance sci-fi. Starfall, on the other hand, just did everything wrong. I can't stand when people belong together, and authors or writers, just like TV shows too. TV shows, movies, books, like when they put so much effort into you caring about these people being together and they drag it out and they just do stupid things, it annoys me. It just annoys me so much. And there were other choices in this book and I was just like, this makes no sense. Like, why would we even, why? So yeah, if you're going to read this, just read it as a standalone because the second book really does nothing for you. Oh yeah, and I also gave Starfall, I think, 3 stars. Next I read What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. I listened to this on audio and I liked it. This is about Arthur and Ben. Arthur is there for the summer doing an internship at his mom's lawyer's office, and Ben lives in New York. Arthur is someone who believes in love at first sight and first impressions, and Ben is sort of a pessimist. He also is coming out of a breakup when we first meet him in this book. And it is about Ben and Arthur's love story and them connecting. I gave this book 4 stars. The next book I read was Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. Carden is everything at this moment. I am just so happy with him in this book. He is a total 180 from the first one. I know people are hesitant, like after they read the first books, they're like, no, this is like really hateful. But it gets better. It gets so much better, because I definitely felt that after the first book. But Queen of Nothing, can't tell much about it because it's the conclusion. It's Jude and Carden and fairies and romance. It's great. It's, look at them. It's just awesome. I gave this 5 stars because it made me so happy. A book that I'm currently reading right now that I will finish as soon as I finish editing this video is All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson. This is a memoir of his talking about his childhood, teen, and early adult life, and it is extremely heartbreaking. It includes letters to his family, and it just talks about his life growing up and what it was like being part of the LGBTQIA community, Black, and the different schools he went to. I definitely recommend the audio if you are going to listen to it because he does narrate it. And the last book I'm going to talk about is Infinity Sun by Adam Silvera. I am struggling with this book. I have been reading this book for majority of the month, and I don't know if it's because it's urban fantasy that I'm struggling with it, or if it's like Adam's writing with fantasy. I do not know, but I am like struggling so hard just to read it. I am about halfway through, and I'm going to finish it this month. I'm going to power through and finish it within the next 2 days. Probably my rating will be somewhere around 3 stars just because it's taking me so long to finish it, and it's also kind of confusing about how the world's set up because there's different people. There's like people born with magic and people who give themselves magic. And it's a little confusing just how things are set up. So that's all I really know about this book. I'm like 160 pages in. So those are all the books that I read this June. I think I did have a really great reading month. 16 books is pretty good. Even though most of them are audio, I still got a few off my TBR. I also did discover a new favorite of mine. I did discover some books I did not like. And yeah, it was just a great month. Let me know if you discovered any favorites this month. If you discovered any that you're not your favorite, we could talk about that too. And thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day. Please stay nice to people, and bye.